Hi everyone, my name is Jason Koo. Today I want to show off a new RushDB Pro feature that allows you to use an existing Neo4j database as the source for your RushDB instance. I'm going to log into RushDB here, and when you first log into RushDB, and if you don't have any existing projects, you'll get this big new projects button. So I'm just going to click on this here, and here you can see in this bottom part, you can add your own Neo4j database info. So here I've got my own instance on Neo4j Aura. So I'm going to grab the URI from the credentials file, and I'm just going to move this over into here. Okay, so I'll name this test Neo4j instance, paste that URI, I'm going to copy this password, update the username to the default Neo4j, and then paste the password, create a new project. I'll just go and save this. And this, what we're looking at here, is the starting guide that RushDB presents when you first create a new project. So these are instructions on how to use RushDB's TypeScript and Python SDKs. Okay, but here I'm connected to an existing Neo4j database, so I want to show off the records section, which you'll notice here is empty. But the database actually has some existing data. So here I'm just going to query and dig up all the nodes available. So here we've got clearly some data in the database, and hold on, I'm going to do one more query. So the match P statement I just did, this will show all nodes only if they have relationships to other nodes. So this would exclude any nodes that are kind of dangling, right, have no relationships. But otherwise, I generally like this view more. So anyways, if you look here on the right, you can see we've got 3 different node label types: agent, customer, tickets. And that's all from a different demo I did. Now, instead of just creating another data set to import, RushDB fortunately has some test data that you can just load up. So I'm just going to run that. So you click on this use test data set. It will load up this giant JSON file, which is in the format that you would use if you were pushing JSON data into a RushDB instance and have it automatically convert to a knowledge graph. I'm just going to ingest it and give it a second. Okay, so we can see records are populated. We have at least task and employee node label types. And here, RushDB also has a graph viewer. So this is just the first 100 records, but we can get a general idea of the shape of the data. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the database, rerun the match P pattern. And here we can see this looks roughly like the shape of the data we saw in the RushDB visualizer. And if you look over to the right, you'll see we have many more node labels than we did prior. And I can just dive in a little closer and we can look at the details of some of this data. All right, so that's a really quick run through on RushDB's new feature that allows you to make use of an existing Neo4j database. You'll notice in the records tab, right, there was no data that showed from the pre-existing data. And that's because RushDB is using particular formatting and key value pairs in the nodes and relationships so that it is easier for RushDB to use. But because of the pre-existing data wasn't formatted that way, it didn't show up on records. Now, if you do want that data that you have already to show up in RushDB's records tab, then you'll have to modify some of the node properties and node labels to make it match. Okay, so I hope that was useful for you. Happy coding as always. Good luck, and I will see you in the next one.